Was it different than the kind of plans that you put forward about having Solo and Zurich out there? Or?
Solo hasn't practiced, I think, in 9 days, and Zoo hasn't practiced in 24 days. So I wouldn't suggest that it was lack of them not playing, because we haven't been practicing with them for a while. I do think they're meaningful to our team. I do think they changed their team, but I don't think that's justification. They played without a really good player too, and I think that's just kind of part of playing games in October in preparation for the regular season. Those guys on our group maybe could have played. It was just my decision relative to the health and well-being going forward.
Both injuries?
No.
What did you learn about your team against a pretty good opponent today?
I think it's been great. You don't want to lose. I think the last 8 days of what we've done and who we've played and what we've learned going into the month of November, I think has been very healthy. Neither weekend game did we do enough to be as successful as we want to be, but I do think our guys have been receptive to the lessons that came from last Saturday, and I anticipate they'll be receptive to what we learned today.
So are you encouraged going into the season despite the loss today?
What I would say on that is to finish last year's season against the same opponent that the next time we played in front of fans was the same, I think it's a great barometer. How did it end, and now how does it begin? Obviously, not getting to the second weekend is a different vibe than this one, technically not counting. But I think the lessons, if you're telling the truth on what we learned in between the lines, like, I know you can only do 2 of these, but if we could do both against Coach, we would. Just because I think it gives you a true temperature of what's required to compete at the highest level.
What do you think you saw from Chris, Rob, guys like that maybe their first taste of like significant action? What do you think you saw from them, and how was it to get them in the game?
Yeah, Rob redshirted last year. He played, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about last weekend, but he played similar minutes last weekend. C-Mac did the same. I thought they did good. I don't think they put themselves in bad spots. I thought they had good energy. And those are important reps. Some of those minutes that are available are because of our roster, the way that they are. But I thought they took advantage of those reps, which is good.
How does this
Chris, hang on.
team
Can we get a
compare
mic?
to?
Chris, can we get a mic to you, please?
Sorry. How does this Houston team compare to the ones you played in the past, and how much does a healthy JoJo Tugler change things for them?
I think 11 is a great prospect, and I thought he just dominated us on the glass. I think 5 gives them the depth that Coach probably wants from a forward position. I think 13 is arguably one of the better passers above 6'5" in the country. In many respects, their team is very similar in regards to what's important to them. I don't know how to compare number 7 because I'm not familiar with his game per se, other than just some of the clips in preparation for this week. But what Shed brought the team from an intangible perspective is as good as there was in the country. But from a talent perspective, obviously 7 is very talented. And I think maybe, I don't know, but they were doing some different things today tactically than they did last year. I don't know if that's because of 7 or because of 5 wasn't playing, but among the best in the country when we played them last year, and I anticipate among the best going into this season.
What did you think of some of your newcomers, CJ and Pharrell specifically?
Yeah, I thought this day was really good for them to get a taste of how we play and who we play. And not to be judgmental on where they came from as far as the institution or the style of play or the conference. But anytime there's a change and you get to play real on real like we did today, it may require less words in preparation going into the season when they were able to live the last 8 days the way that they have, because they were able to feel it, they were able to play in it, they were able to see it. And I think that that's healthy because both of them will have a distinct role for our team. And I thought they did some good things, but in some ways I think their struggles will be good lessons for them going into the season.
Coach, what are your thoughts on how this game came about, putting it together?
Coach is one of my few heroes. So if I can help coach, if we can play coach, if coach will answer my call, if coach wants to do a Zoom, I think he represents all of the things that are right in our profession. And so I called him shortly after, I don't know, necessarily 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but I've written coach since I was a kid and still hold him in the highest regard and ask if we could figure out a way to play. Their schedule was already full, and then we kind of worked on that, trying to see if that would work, and then it ended up turning into this, which was good.
You know, in the exhibition last year, there was a lot of turnovers. I know how y'all do boot camp, and there's been times that you say, you know, it takes the team to get settled into everything. How much, where do you feel like you are in terms of some of that? Does this feel like it was the same as last year?
It's just, it's bad math. We had the same struggle last weekend for a little bit of a different reason with the same result. It's hard. I understand we shot 31 free throws, but when the opponent shoots 19 more balls, it's normally derived from two ways. Either you're giving it to them when you have it, or they're shooting it and misses it and getting it back. So in the first half, when they missed, they got more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds. And then in the second half, the same. And they didn't quite miss as many balls in the second half, so there wasn't as many misses. But that just becomes mathematically hard to overcome over time, particularly if you're doing both. And we're going to give you the ball, and you're going to play in a broken floor. And then when they shoot the ball, get it again. Last year's team, for us, we were second in the country in turnover rate. So we didn't give the ball to the opponent very often. And then we were number one in the country in offensive rebound percentage. We missed a lot, but we got it a lot. And so in last year's group, we shot more balls than any Division I team in the last 6 years. But it was because of both things, not one thing. And so today, it went the other way. We gave it to them too much, and then when they missed it, they got it too much. And over time, our free throw attempts help, but over time, they win time of possession too much. They have the ball too much, however they got it.
When I was talking about last year's exhibition to this year's exhibition.
Yeah, we played in Denton last year at this time, didn't we? Honestly, Travis, I know they beat us. I would say we were a little more mature in our preparation going into this week. Some of it having to do with how we handled the preparation. The kids were tremendous. Some of that is the history with Houston. Some of that is their familiarity and their relationships with their players. Some of that is how last season ended. A lot of what was transpiring with Texas Tech, as far as what I remember, a lot of new guys, new coach, we're watching North Texas film, not knowing if that's what they're going to do against Texas Tech. That's kind of what led to this year's neutral site again with them, which will be another great test. But yes, we turned the ball over at too high of a rate today in front of fans, and we turned the ball over at too high of a rate in front of my wife and baby last Saturday. We can't do that. And our defensive rebounding has to be dramatically better. And in a perfect world, we would like our offensive rebounding to be better. So according to this, and I'll tell you, when they missed it, they got it back 50% of the time. And when we missed it, we got it back 32% of the time. And then we gave it to them turnovers 16 times.
All right, that's a wrap.